Alright, welcome back, everyone. So we've spent a lot of time talking specifically about technical stuff. What is the really cool thing about a roam board? It's articulated steering, it's tie rod assist, and all the electronics above the board on the tank. Creates great industrial design and super product. So I want to introduce the guys who have really helped to make this happen. You've all met Peter. He's the one who drove this thing from the start, got me away from taking naps, got me excited about doing this project. So I want to introduce Nick Brayman. So I had an opportunity to interview Nick for a job, wanted to hire him, and things didn't work out. And a couple weeks later we met, and at this point I had completed the rough CAD model and still didn't have the skills built back up yet to create a real defined 3D model so that we would be able to go to manufacturing. Nick has those skills. Nick is the guy who took this from concept to a final product. So what I want to do is just share a story. So I met with Nick at a coffee shop and we talked for about an hour and a half. And this whole time I'm flipping through presentation slides, going through how cool this company is going to be and what we're going to accomplish, and I'm holding things back. And so I think we're doing a great sales job. And Nick's over there smiling, he's kind of nodding his head up and down. So finally he goes, jump to the end. What do you got? So I go to the end slide, I show him a rough CAD drawing. He goes, wow, it's cool. So I thought I had done a great sales job. Well, it turns out it wasn't quite that way. So I'm going to let Nick share what he was thinking for that whole hour and a half, and then some of the things that he's done for me. Go ahead, Nick.
So Rob called me and said, hey, I want to meet with you and Brady. He said, I've got something I'd like to show you. I said, okay. And so he said, would you be interested in meeting for a cup of coffee? I said, okay. So I called Brady and said, you know, Rob wants to meet with us. I said, I have no idea what he's getting ready to present us with. I said, for all I know, it'll be a pyramid scheme. I said, it's worth a cup of coffee. So Brady and I meet up with him, and as Rob said, he talked for about a good hour and a half. And finally I looked at him and said, so what is it you're selling, or what is it you want from me? And then it started to dawn on him that we still had no idea what the idea was or what he was selling. And so after we realized what it was and his idea and his vision, what it was exactly he wanted from us, you know, then my interest was piqued. And so I said, yeah, I would be interested in looking at it further and pursuing this with liquidroam. So yeah, I looked at what he had for a CAD model and said, yeah, let's go forward. And so we proceeded from there to produce parts and assemblies that could be manufactured, and that we could find machinists to build our parts. And so we started down that avenue.
Thanks. And it cracked up. It took him about a month to admit to me that he thought for that whole hour and a half that I was going to spring a Ponzi scheme on him. So I guess maybe I'm a little bit more salesman than I thought. Who knows? So Brady Calvert and I have known each other for a couple of years. Did have an opportunity to hire Brady, and I've worked with him in a truly great engineer and a great sense from a practical knowledge standpoint. So Brady I will admit it, he's a perfectionist. And so Brady has really done a phenomenal job for liquidroam in creating prototypes that we had no idea how to make. And those two things in those prototypes. One are actual boards that go on the roam board, and the tank. You've seen the tank, and you've seen the prototype tank that Brady built up there. So let me introduce Brady. Go ahead and share a little bit about your personal history and what you've been working on for liquidroam.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed building stuff with my hands, and I've always enjoyed just building models and things of that nature. So when I was presented with the opportunity to model a fiberglass tank for this board that really was a hard geometry, lots of curves, lots of contours, I was pretty excited, but also scared at the same time. I really had no idea how to do it or what I was up against. And it proved to be one of the most fun things that I've ever had the opportunity to do. I built the foam model I built the model.
Built the model for the tank. You got tongue twisted, whatever. I get tongue twisted too.
Well, I don't really know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Are we not supposed to cut?
All right, we're back with Brady. Just a unrecoverable stumble there. All right, Brady, if you could share with us again the tank and what that helped liquidroam accomplish.
Yeah, as Rob said, one of the first things that I was tasked with liquidroam was building an actual prototype, something that our customers can see, hold, and get an overall feeling for what the overall product looks like, how it acts, how it moves, and that sort of thing. So we started out by building a fiberglass tank, which, as you've seen in the previous footage, looks kind of similar to what a motorcycle gas tank looks like. It's very much not easy to build something like that just by sanding down blocks of wood or blocks of foam or anything like that. So one of the ways that we went about doing it was we took a 3D CAD model that Nick and Rob came up with, cut it into cross sections, so we had a whole bunch of cross sections of foam that we could then glue together, sand down so it looks nice and smooth, and then once we had that foam model made, just cover it with fiberglass, sand some more, and then at that point it's just a long process of bondoing and sanding day after day for, well, as Rob said, I'm a perfectionist, so quite a few days.
So Brady finally gives me a look at this thing, and he's like, well, I'm about half done. I look at it and go, dude, you are so done. This is incredible.
Another item we had to prototype right off the bat was the wood board. There's lots of plans on the internet for building a wood skateboard and that sort of thing, so that was much easier than the fiberglass tank. In order to do that, we had to cut cross sections of wood, much similar in the way that we cut the cross sections of foam, and then order maple plywood, laminate them up, and press them into a skateboard press. One of the things I really enjoyed about this process was it allowed us to get our hands dirty and deal with wood and foam and a lot of dirty materials that you don't get a lot of chance of to deal with when you're sitting behind a computer every day. And I feel that it was a really good experience and that it will help lead us into a micro-manufacturing environment where we can make all of our own products for cheap and that are very good quality.
Thanks, Brady. Appreciate it. So, you heard Brady talk about micro-manufacturing, and you've heard me mention that as well. We've got a great product, but we know that what we don't want to build is just a product. We want to build a sustainable, profitable company that rests on making incredibly fun transportation that can serve the need to help reduce carbon emissions. Very clear goals. So I wonder, and we've talked about this over and over and over and over. We all have dreams of exactly how we want to do something, and we all know that it's not going to happen exactly the way we want it. But so where we sit here, what I'd love to ask you is, where do you want the company to be in 10 years?
So that's a pretty good question. In our company, we actually have 6 steps, and so this is our board is just kind of the first step. And so one of the things that we really want to strive for in our business is to make sure that we are using our profits to buy the material costs. Most companies, they go out and take a loan, and then they get their materials, and they use the profits from their products to pay back their loan. So one of the things that we're really trying to do is to use the profit money to buy the new materials. And so as we go into the next steps, and each step is a different product that is eventually going to lead up into a car-like vehicle that's going to have climate control on the inside and is going to be able to transport somebody at very far ranges, 1 to 2 people. And so we want to use each of the profits from the previous product to fund the research and development of the next product. So in the next 10 years, I'm thinking we'd probably be on either the 3rd or 4th step. Liquidroam would be very well underway. We'd be, contrary to what my father thinks, he kind of wants to keep the manufacturing in a very close-knit group. And I think that as we progress, we're going to find that we're going to need a few more employees to help in the manufacturing process. And so we'll probably have, you know, a bigger warehouse, a bigger staff, because these guys are all we've got right now. They're a great bunch of guys. And so in the next 10 years, we'll probably be working down the road with a new design for everybody out there, and we're really hoping to change the world with this thing.
Thanks, Peter. So throughout this whole thing, I've kind of been looking off to the side. And the reason I'm doing that is we've got a roam bar parked over here. We're out here in a coffee shop. And it's just a crack up to watch as people walk by this thing, and they all stop there. The kids kneel down next to it and want to take a look at it. The adults kind of stop, look at it, walk around it, and then keep going. So we're going to take you from here, and we're going to start riding this roam board. Riding this roam board around on the street down here. And what I encourage you to do, guys, as you're watching this, is don't watch the roam board. We've got some other video where you can see a roam board. Watch the people in the background and watch their reactions. This is going to be fun. All right, see you soon.